this comes with Windows 10 Home. What the? Come on, let's get rid of that Windows Home. Let's get some Windows Pro. Copy and paste my code from the description. You can also get Office 2019. Just paste my code. Woof. It's Windows Pro time. Oh yes, you know what time it is. It's the time to compare XPS 15 versus the MacBook Pro 16. And I would appreciate a like, because I'm telling you now, I spent all yesterday trying to get boot camp or trying to boot to an external drive with this MacBook Pro 16 to get Windows gaming working. And yeah, couldn't get it working. Then they dropped the boot camp update today or whatever. I spent so much time, so I appreciate a like. And it's literally only been out hours, the boot camp drivers for this. So, I got this up as quick as I could. Now, I will compare this to the i9 5500 very soon, gaming as well. I will test also, look there. So you get the Pro drivers with this, and that's the thing. They said that it's been optimized for workstation sort of performance, not gaming. So actually, both of these are not for gaming, right? You don't buy these laptops for gaming. So I will be testing Pro applications. So I'll be testing like spec perf views. So that tests Maya, 3D Studio Max and all that sort of stuff. Should be good because it's got the Pro drivers, right? So anyway, these are the two kings, in my opinion, of the 15-inch, certainly content creator premium sort of laptops. Now, one thing you need to know is when you boot into Windows on this MacBook Pro, you lose all the undervolting. So there's a lot of undervolting going on when you're using Mac OS. You can see here I was disappointed with this i7 because it can only maintain pretty much the same wattage as the last 15-inch model. And don't be telling me that, the i9 uses less voltage. I know that. I undervolt friggin' heaps and friggin' CPUs. I understand how, undervolting works with wattage. And also, stop telling me it uses 35 watts of CPU power, because it doesn't. It uses more than 35 watts. I'll talk about that in a sec. GPU power, I mean. Now, Ash from Vitudio, go check out his channel. His was maintaining 60 watts the whole time. He has an i7 as well. So, chuck your i9 theory out the window. And basically, when I've undervolted laptops, the best undervolting ones I've had, actually, ironically, have been i7s. Even though, of course, yes, the i9 should be a better bin product, should use less voltage, should produce less watts at the same sort of frequency, etc. Of course, we all understand that. But first, let's have a look at the displays. The size difference, yeah? Big 16-inch one, big. All right, so this is a 15-inch. It's wide. 16 by 9, 16 by 10. I will show you the full resolution. Let me go to 100% scaling. Oh, look at that. Look how small that is. This is 100% 4K on this panel here. Oh, and let's go 100% on this. So you can't do this on Mac OS. There you go. It's 100%. So let's have a look at the resolution difference there. You can see 4K. It is a higher resolution. Now, this is sharp because it is 4K, and when you double up the pixels, you're going to get a super sharp display, especially with the OLED. This is the LED Touch. That's the one I like because it's got better battery life. I mean, I don't even know if that's the right decision between the OLED and the LED 4K Touch. It's a hard decision. But anyway, this one here, not quite the resolution of the 4K. So when you have it in Mac OS, you can't really double the pixels, or actually you can, but you lose that much screen real estate. It's not worth doubling the pixels. So you sort of have a little bit of softness there. But I've already said a million times when I reviewed the 17-inch gaming laptops, bigger is better. So 17-inch is better. 16-inch, I like, for a gaming experience, is better than a 15-inch. It's just how it is. There is a new XPS 15 coming out early next year, and there is an XPS 17 coming out too. So which one do I compare this to, the 17 or the 15? That's the question I need answered. So given that bootcamp drivers only dropped, only been up for an hour, I tested both these laptops with the latest updates, latest drivers, and I tested 5 games. I am going to test more, and I am going to compare this to the i9 5500 graphics. This is the i7 with 16 gigs and the 5300 graphics. And this one here is an i7, so it's good. They're both i7s, and this has a GTX 1650. So I want to know in the comments now, quickly comment, which one's going to be faster, the AMD 5300 or the GTX 1650? Well, guess what? I am completely shocked. Completely shocked. This 5300 clean sweep. 5 out of 5 games faster than Firestrike. When it comes to thermals, yeah, it's going to reach the 100. The GPU will use up to 50 watts. So anyone saying 35 watts doesn't know what they're talking about. And the CPU wattage will fluctuate up and down. You can get, a CPU frequency from, the low 2s up to 4 gigahertz. It just depends on how hot it is. Remember, this one I have isn't very good with thermals compared to other i7s. Also, you lose all that undervolting advantage that you get in Mac OS. So, the noise on both of them is exactly the same. Both 50 decibels, or on my meter 50 decibels. But it absolutely shocked me that the 5300 paired up with Intel, because only Disowned has done a gaming review on the 5500 and wasn't that much faster than the 1650. Well, this one's faster than the 1650 and it's only the 5300. So you can imagine the 8GB 5500 paired with Intel CPU, it's going to be even faster again, probably pushing near 1660. So stay tuned for that when I get that one in. But so far, I cannot believe that the base model graphics is so far faster than the XPS 1650 graphics GTX. Have a look at the benchmarks here. As I said, Bootcamp Drive has only been up a matter of hours, so appreciate a like for this. Check out at the end of this video GTA 5 running the full benchmark on both, and you can watch the FPS of both of them and the thermals. So thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Tally ho. Alright, so we're playing a bit of GTA 5. Woo! And yes, you're seeing high and very high. Oh god, it's hard to play with a trackpad. I'll give you the tip. Alright, high. I should connect the controller, shouldn't I? Feels like I'm bloody, whoa! Feels like I'm drifting every corner I turn. Alright, so, actually, have I got another USB I can use? All out of USBs, I think. Actually, I can take that one out. Doesn't matter. So we're playing a bit of GTA 5, and can you believe it? Look at that. Super busy street. 80 FPS. Are you joking? Are you joking? And I think this performs as good as the XPS 15. I think maybe even better. And I can't believe that, because this is a 5300, and by the way, all the overclocking advantages, if I haven't already told you, that you get, I mean not overclocking, undervolting advantages you get when you use Mac OS, they're out the window. So when you're running Windows, you don't get all that undervolting. So the thermal performance of this is worse than what it would be in Mac OS. Now I said that this one isn't a particularly good one. Ash's i7, he has a 16-inch i7. Ooh, he has a big 16-incher, and yeah, it's i7, same as this, but his maintains 60 watts at the end of Cinebench, like it's maintaining 60 watts. Mine, mate, you're lucky to get 50, 52. Might peak up every now and then to 56 once it gets hot, but yeah, generally it just goes back down to about 50, even under 50 sometimes. So I don't have a particularly good unit thermal wise, like it obviously didn't undervolt well or whatever. But in Windows, that's out the window, as I said, and we're getting 80, 90 FPS, 1080p, high, very high settings with this one, and every other game, even Witcher, 60 FPS, high settings, 1080p, 5300. Are you joking? Like, and yes, it will get up to 100. There's no problem there. And the fan noise, it is loud if you're comparing it to, say, you know, an Ultrabook or something like that. But compared to a gaming laptop, this is nothing. It's like in silent mode gaming. The fan noise is fine. And I just cannot believe, whoa, that we're getting such great performance out of this 5300. It does do up to 50 watts, the GPU, and goes up to 1.2. So you can see, yeah, it's backing off the wattage there, but still the performance is very high. So it will have to back off, you know, the wattage on the CPU and GPU, and it will go up to 100 every now and then. But all in all, the temperatures are perfectly fine, obviously, because it does back off the wattage on the CPU and GPU. And the game performance, no stuttering, nothing like that. It's just a linear loss of, you know, FPS if you know, the GPU goes down to 30 watts. It's really linear. It's not freaking out. It's not getting, you know, ultra hot and then dipping down to 40 frames or something like that. It's just a cracking. It's actually a good gaming device. I cannot believe it. A Mac. Can you believe it? This is easily the best MacBook Pro going around. This is amazing, and yeah, I can't wait to see what the 5500 does. Does it use more wattage, or is it just using more of the stream processors, but doesn't use more wattage? That'll be interesting. Can't wait to have a look at that i9. I will have it very soon, and I will have the 5500 very soon. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Catch you in the next one. Tally ho.